Today is December 14th, 2015. I am Sandra Homemaker, and this is my kitchen. I've decided to start videotaping my daily life. My husband challenged me to do this because I am very particular about the foods that I pick for my family. I do a lot of research. I like to visit the farms. I like to read about it online, and I've learned a lot of cooking techniques from YouTube, and also I use YouTube for a lot of recipes. So he thinks that I could contribute to the knowledge base of this type of traditional real food cooking from scratch. So the challenge is to make a video a day for a year. So we'll see how that goes. My rules are I'm already very busy, so I cannot do anything special or do anything extra to make a video. I'm just supposed to video what I'm normally doing every day and just kind of describe what I'm doing. No retakes and not a lot of editing. I can cut stuff out, but I don't need to spend a lot of time adding things in and adding music and stuff like that. If this gets to be popular and people like what I have to post, then I can maybe spend some more time on it. But for now, it's just supposed to be recording my day and describing the foods that I'm cooking and the sources where I get them. So let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm a wife and a mother. My family lives right outside of Atlanta, north of Atlanta. So when I source locally, that means in general the Atlanta area or within a 2 to 3 hour drive of Atlanta. A lot of farmers from the outer areas come into the city to farmers markets and drop-off points, so it makes it really convenient for people living in Atlanta to get real food. I think this is a really good area for good food. I got so involved with this movement that I started volunteering my time at local farms and learning from the other farmers, and then I started growing some of my own foods. My sister and I have chickens, goats, and a small garden to feed our family, and then occasionally we have a little bit left over which we sell. But then I also like to help out at other farmers markets, or people ask me a lot of times where I get things, so I'll share that information with them. And actually we have a website in this area to connect people with local farmers, and it is at www.atlantarealfood.com. So first look there and see if you can find sources there. If you're trying to find a particular thing, you can send me a message or comment below my videos and I'll see if I can help you. So I'm just going to tell you about my plan for the day, and then maybe take a few shots of me actually cooking. We'll see. So one of the things that you'll find if you're cooking from scratch and buying locally is that it takes some planning. It takes time to cook this way, so you need to have a good plan. So I like to start each morning planning out the whole rest of the day, because a lot of times you'll have a meal like for dinner that's going to take longer to cook, and you can go ahead and get it started in the morning, and that way you're not in the kitchen all day. Today we will have eggs for breakfast. These are from our chickens. I'll just scramble them up in one of my cast iron pans on the stove. So eggs, and then I like to pair, especially eggs, but anytime you're having protein, I like to pair it with some sort of fermented vegetable. And here I have radish, jalapeno, garlic, rosemary, and salt, and I made that from the garden earlier this year. So this is one of my favorites. It's not too spicy, but it's got a lot of flavor. That goes really well on top of the scrambled eggs. And then we'll also have some yogurt. This is a grass-fed yogurt, organic grass-fed yogurt from Trader Joe's. This is a new product they just came out with. It's plain, so it's a little bit sour, so we like to add honey. And we get honey from Hometown Honey. They're based out of Kennesaw. And I find their honey a lot of times in roadside markets that have local produce and that kind of stuff. They sell there. We also get it off of the farm truck from Carlton Farms. So that's going to be breakfast. Eggs, fermented vegetables, and yogurt with honey. Then for lunch, I have this chicken here that came from Darby Farms. It's a whole chicken, so this could be 2 or 3 or 4 meals for my family. So today I'm going to start the first meal with chicken. I'm going to cook the whole chicken. I'm going to put it in the crock pot and just let it cook for a few hours until about lunchtime. And then I will take off the breasts, and then we'll chop that up and make chicken salad. And with that, I'm going to use an onion. This came in my organic vegetable box from Nature's Garden Express. I'll use a stalk of celery. I think I have one big stalk here growing off this celery. I'll just cut this stalk off. This is from an organic celery that I had. I don't know where I got it. Probably maybe Trader Joe's, maybe Nature's Garden. And I used some of it, and then I just stuck it down in a jar with some dirt. And I water it every once in a while, and it just keeps growing back. So I just use a little bit at a time. I use that celery in my stock too. So here, once we make this chicken salad, I'll also use organic mayonnaise from Trader Joe's. I don't normally like soy, but with mayonnaise, it's kind of hard to find mayonnaise that doesn't have soy or canola. So this is my compromise. At least it's organic. And then we'll wrap it all up in a flour tortilla. And again, this is not organic, but it is ingredients that I recognize, so that's okay. So let me get started on breakfast. Okay, so I forgot to mention that I'm also going to use butter, plenty of butter. So first thing I'm going to do is turn on the stove, medium, and I'm going to put a generous amount of butter in the pan. This is Kerrygold grass-fed butter, and we're going to let that melt. Now we are making scrambled eggs, so while that's melting, I'm going to crack some eggs and whip them in the cup to make them fluffier. I like to save my eggshells and let them dry out, and then I grind them up and use them as a calcium supplement in my garden. And I'll put in a little bit of milk, just a splash. That just makes it more fluffy. Once the pan gets nice and hot and bubbly, then you can put the eggs in. Now just let it sit and cook for a minute before you start mixing it in the pan. This is going to prevent it from sticking to the bottom of the pan. Now once I notice the edges starting to get turning white, the white is actually turning white, then I'll start scraping it away from the sides. The bottom is starting to become solid, so now we need to get the liquidy part on top mixed down to the bottom so that it'll cook. And when I use cast iron, of course my pan is really well seasoned, but I like to use this metal spatula. It does scrape the pan, but my seasoning is so strong, it's not going to scrape the seasoning off. And if anything, it sort of helps keep the surface smooth on the bottom of the pan. We do like our eggs a little on the runny side, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat off and get some plates ready. Now to clean the pan, I'm just going to take a paper towel and wipe it out. While the pan is still warm, I'm going to add just a spoonful of bacon grease to keep that season fresh on the pan. I'm tilting the pan around to just coat the bottom with bacon grease. And then I'll just set that off the heat and let it cool. Now over here, I'll get our yogurt ready. The grass-fed yogurt's a little bit runnier than your typical yogurt. And breakfast is served. So how did you like my first YouTube video? Comment below, let me know, and be sure to give me a like, and maybe even subscribe to my channel if I can figure out how to make that work. Thanks, and I hope you come back and keep watching.